So this fire as energy, and soma as the substance or the immortality substance, ambrosia, which came down as the most quintessential being, as it were, or delight of being, which fire wants to constantly move forward, and with that movement of soma from form to form, create more and more suitable embodiment for the higher consciousness. That's the device which was adopted by nature. And today we will look into the hymn, one of the hymns from the fifth mandala.
Can I just share one thing, that as you was talking about this Agni and Soma going ahead, so it was a little like the Agni represents the will, and Soma the delight. So when both of them are in their purest form, then the individual is basically unstoppable, because there is the will of your truth, like what you are here for, the rhythm, and the Soma is the bliss of existence. There is no ego corruption of lower pleasures or anything. That whole in subjective reality is again cleansed, let's say, with the help of Agni and Soma in its purity.
When Soma is taken by Agni, it is given to all those divine forces which Agni represents. And we will see how Agni represents these divine forces, because he is as the divine will, as you rightly said, because Aurobindo calls it the divine will in us, invokes all the necessary forces which are beyond and within to the action here on the surface, and they take charge of this movement and start transforming it, start molding it, start, like the dough, they are working on it until it is ready to be the bread for this spirit. Yes, Charles.
Well, just to complete this thought, that in Chinese medicine, every organ is the impetus of an aspect of consciousness. And the kidneys is the source of volition and will. So we keep coming, in my mind, when I'm hearing, I'm coming back to this navel chakra, kidney, fire thing, that two, very respected schools of thought are meeting. And it seems like they're meeting in this area.
Very interesting, because we never had this opportunity to compare Chinese school of medicine with our Vedic kind of vision, philosophy. Yes, it could be interesting to do this research project and compare the two systems. Mother,
I'm going to look at it just to make sure that I'm speaking accurately in this conversation. I'm just putting things together, but I think that this aspect of will and Agni and how does it relate in our physical body? Something that I can use in my life at my age, and what can I do with that? That's where I am with it. Thank you.
The body, yes, the body is symbolic representative of representation of these spiritual forces, definitely, and all the organs also. There is a beautiful description or the mentioning by the mother that in the future all our organs, as we know them today, will change and will become the centers of these forces, of the forces which are there, always there, and like liver will become a representative of one spiritual power, stomach, the whole intestine thing will disappear. It's quite interesting. If you look at our body, we have the skin outside, yes, which is skinning us in, as it were. We are inside the skin, and outside the skin it's not we, it's somebody else. And then there is this track, the mouth, and then that track to the stomach and the intestine, which is going out. So there is an inner skin, the tube, as it were, going through our system, which is also having but inner skin. And that inner skin takes food, interestingly, whatever is outside, why we want to gobble, to swallow. That is the adaptation, that is the appropriation, the way of enjoyment and appropriation of the other being or the world or the matter. So we put it into the inner skin where it is being digested, like a snake, like gobbles the thing, and then it's like one big intestine snake, and it is kind of digesting what it took inside its skin, and whatever is not appropriated is thrown out from this tube.
So please stop me if this is inappropriate. But what happens is you're talking about what's known as the epithelial tissue. The skin is made of epithelial tissue. The lining of the whole gut is epithelial tissue. The lining of the lungs is epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue creates the blood-brain barrier. And these are these barrier systems that keep the outside from the inside. So that tube that you're talking about in internal medicine is not considered to be interior in the body. It's inside the body, but it's not in the blood. It's got to go through it, and it all goes through this epithelial.
It's very, very interesting. By the way, that's with your from your course, I got this glimpse that we are actually outside, and inside, outside. Yeah. And then when Mother speaks about that tube, which is inside, outside, so to say, she says that in the future body, this tube will disappear. There will be no more consuming food by the inside outside, that intestine will disappear, stomach will disappear, all the organs of excretion will disappear, because there is nothing to throw out from the system, because nothing is taken into the system. Yeah? So it becomes in itself immortal, or in itself self-sustaining. But the lungs will not disappear, the breath will stay. It's quite interesting. The procreatory organs will disappear, because the beings will be procreated differently, not through the sexual formation. So they will be coming into birth by thought, by the power of consciousness. So two major functions on which all our human existence is built will disappear, and that is the food, digestion of food, and sex. Food and sex, which are determining 90% of all thinking in human brain, will go. So what will be left? we will have to find something else to do after all. So today we will start with this mandala 5. I want to jump from the hymn 1 of the book 1 to mandala 5, because it's easier for us to come to these ideas, I think. And then we can come back. We can come back every time. We will be shifting, drifting, but I will cover with you as many hymns as possible. I don't think we will cover all. It will require a lot of time. Yes? You don't mind, yeah? Panchamam Mandalam. So Rishi Buddha Gavishthirao Atreyao. So there are two rishis, Buddha and Gavishthira. Gavishthira Buddha is quite clear, yes, awakened being. And Gavishthira steady in Gavi, in the light. The one whose consciousness is steady in the light, fixed in the light. So this is Devata Agni, Chandas Trishtup. We discussed the rhythm. It is 11 syllabic meter. So it sounds something like this. Abodhih Agnih Samidha Jananam Pratidhenum Ivayatim Ushasam Yahvaiva Pravayam Ujjihanach Prabhanavach Sisrate Nakam Acha. Let me come to the to my translations, and let us look into what Sri Aurobindo says on this hymn. A hymn of the morning sacrifice. The Rishi hymns the awakening of Agni, the divine force, to conscious action in the coming of the dawn. Agni rises towards the luminous paradise. His goal is the luminous paradise, feeding on the works of the discernment which distributes the gifts and activities of the sacrifice, becomes a pure energy leading our days, and ascends to the vastness and the truth. By the truth he fashions anew our two firmaments, the physical and mental consciousness. This is the golden affirmation of him in our heavens. Now, by the truth which we discover, Agni, the divine will, fashions anew our two firmaments, physical and mental consciousness. I know it's loaded with meaning. Just it's a short introduction to the whole hymn, which Sri Aurobindo does sometimes, just to give a summary of the hymn, what it is about. We will see the details while reading. It's an amazing hymn, one after the other. One is better than the other. Abodhi Agnih Samidha Jananam Pratidhenum Ivayatim Ushasam. Strength is awake by kindling of the peoples, and he fronts the dawn that comes to him as the cow that fosters, like mightinesses that rush upward to their expanding, his lustres advancing mount towards the heavenly level. It's sheer poetry. Huh? Awakened is the flame, it's my interpretation, by the kindling of those who are born in the body, jana. Jana we usually translate as people, but it is from root jan, to be born, generate, generation. These are words of the same etymology. So these are who are generated, who took the physical body here. So by those who took the physical body, the fire is kindled. It is by us who are born in the physical frame, the fire has to be kindled. Kindled, there's a very interesting kind of idea. What does it mean to kindle the fire?
To ignite the fire,
Yes, to ignite the fire. What does it mean to ignite it in the physical frame? Does it mean that just to start the fire outside in the forest, or? Yeah, it's an interesting.
The soul. I don't know.
It's a symbol. Yes, we have to kindle the divine will within us, within our heart.
Aspiration.
Yes, aspiration. So that is another fire, which is neither physical, nor vital, nor mental, but the psychic fire, the flame within the heart. Yeah? Deep within, that divine spark within our heart, which I was showing on the divine plan, in the depth. That is the spark, and that spark is to become a flame, We have to become conscious of its action, of its presence, of its activity. We have to feed that fire. We have to offer to that fire everything what we are, what we have, what we do, what we think, what we feel. Everything has to go into that flame. That we have to feed that flame, that inner consciousness. It has to grow. It has to reach to heavens. It has to flame come to the front. And we will see in this hymn how this flame is born from the darkness into the front. So kindling by those. Strength is awake by kindling of the peoples, and he fronts the dawn. Awakened is the flame by the kindling of those who are born in the body. Towards the dawn he moves. The dawn is the symbol of the Divine Mother, who in return, when he moves towards her, invokes her, and she in return is approaching him as nourishing cow, her calf, as if the mother to feed him his growth here. She answers to his call. We too, like the flames of light, rise full of power, springing upward towards heaven. This is my interpretation. Aurobindo does it differently, like mightinesses that rush upward to their expanding, his lustrous advancing mount towards the heavenly level. He doesn't say we. I am translating Vayam. Vayam is translated traditionally as the birds. As the birds from the branches fly up in the sky in the morning, so these flames of fire reach to heaven. And that's the traditional interpretation. I am not translating Vayam as of the birds from the word V, which is typical Vedic word. Only in the Vedas it is used. And Vayam is very rare form of genitive plural, Shashti Bahuvachanam. I'm saying this because Anuradha is here. And it is very rare and only in this hymn met. So I was thinking that Vayam is just lengthening of A from Vayam, we. And it fits, Jihva, Iva, as if full of energy, we, rising, pra, ujjihanach, as if the flames in the morning rise towards heaven directly. So as flames in the morning rise towards we full of energy also rise in the morning. And we who are born in the body have to mount, to rise higher and higher in our consciousness. It is our evolution of consciousness. We are born here to rise every day, day by day. By the days we rise to higher and higher levels of consciousness. So this is the idea of the first verse. You can see how much is loaded here. There is an interesting subtle association of Agni with the beings who are born here on earth in the material body. They kindle him from within themselves, as it were, for Agni is their inner and the innermost nature. That's why Rishi says, we too rose up like the beams of the light of Agni straight towards heaven. There is one interesting characteristic of Agni. It is always rising up. It is always flaming up. Never down, never to the side, unless the wind is there, of course. But if you leave it, it will be rising up. And this is the symbolism of reaching heaven, striving towards higher levels of consciousness. This first verse makes association with Agni completely subjective, for it speaks about us, those who are born in the material body. Now let us take second verse. Abodhi hota.
Vladimir, what are beings? You said the second, the subtle one. What was that? The subtle. Just go up a little.
More?
Agni with beings who are born here. What do you mean by beings who are born here? You said in the second one, there's an interesting subtle association of Agni with beings who are born here on our
Yes,
planet.
beings it is we, all who took the physical body. All of us.
So even the top is about us only, and the second one is also about us only. Right?
Yeah.
The beings are we only. There are no other beings you're talking about.
Yes, we, it's a big we, yeah, a capital we. It's not only human beings, all beings who took the physical body on earth. Within them, there is this heat, this Agni.
You mean even the like plants and animals and everyone, not just
All of
human
them.
beings?
Yes, not only human beings.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes, that's
It's
why.
that urja, right, which exists in all living beings.
Yes, and that Oshadhi, if you take the word Oshadhi, location of Osha, of the light, of the energy, the greenery is a location of fire. That's why we burn them and they give fire. Wood is burning and producing fire. The fuel, what we have, oil and gas, is nothing but that organic matter compressed, which is now releasing a lot of energy, fire. That fire is within, hiding within. All those organically being born, taking body on earth beings. Profound if you think the whole earth is, the essence of earth is fire. Just
So can you
think.
say fire is energy? I mean, can you relate it as energy?
It is energy, definitely. Yes.
So
Everybody calls sun the ball of fire, and actually it's the earth which it looks green and blue.
And it is fire within. The fire which you go down to the core of our earth, you will see that there is a sun burning there. Yes, Charles.
so it's easy for me to wrap my head around the cosmic fire, the cosmic heat, but then when we read here, it's like I'm hearing it as Agni is a being, but in myself it's Agni as an archetype. And so then if Agni is a being, is Agni completely self-realized, or is Agni on the same journey as Prakriti, as the universe becoming self-realized?
Second one.
Second one.
Yeah,
Okay.
universe is becoming self-realized.
Yes.
The fire is intrinsic within nature.
Yes.
Nature is nothing but the enterprise of this fire being revealed more and more, and making it nature more and more suitable to embody the spirit.
Yeah. So then is it too simplified to say that? I mean, Agni is all pervasive and omnipresent everywhere, but to really see Agni as an essential component of Prakriti, like that. I mean, nature and being, I've kind of simplified it as Purusha and Prakriti. So, but would Agni kind of fall more within that cosmological nature itself, the mother of, for example, the hydrogen in our body and the oxygen and the water and the iron in the planet, none of that came from here. It all is a result of millions of years of imploding nebula that releases those gases and those elements that coalesce here, that allows there to be a biological environment to support Purusha's descent and ascent. But does Agni break down into either one of those Purusha Prakriti things, or is it more towards Prakriti?
It is there is no Prakriti without Purusha.
Yeah.
So there is no Agni without Purusha, and there is no action of Agni without Prakriti. So Agni embodies two, the knowledge and the power within himself. So it is the action of Purusha within Prakriti, constant sacrifice of Prakriti towards Purusha, constant change of the unconscious form into the more and more suitable conscious forms of Purusha.
Do you personally, do you think of Agni as a being or as an archetypical force?
It's interesting because Agni has two major forms. One is the form of universal presence in the universe, which is standing behind all those atoms, electrons, and everywhere, and which is pushing everything forward, as it were, as time is doing the work, and everything is burning and moving forward. Nothing stays static. And the other Agni is when it rises to the conscious levels of life force, for example, into the greenery. Greenery itself is the embodiment of Agni, of that energy. Why from the seed the huge tree grows? Well, how is that even possible? And not only grows, it reproduces itself. It creates the fruits from which the seeds from each other trees come into being, and the tree may die, but it creates the forest. How is that even imaginable from the point of view if there is no fire within? So fire changes its quality into the vital fire, the vital force, and it is also fire. And then there is a mental fire, as Rashi was mentioning before, the fire of knowledge. Why we are meeting here, there is some fire burning in us, some, search for the truth, some search for understanding what we are here in this world, in this huge universe, these beings who can talk and think and feel. Incredible. We are already embodied beings in the physical body. We can do all that, which is totally non-physical. We are operating on non-physical level in the physical body. Unimaginable. When you think about this, what an achievement. And not only that, we are making this physical body more and more suitable for higher and higher non-physical operations of consciousness. So the fire has some role to play here. It constantly burns something which is to be burned, transforms something which is to be transformed, making it more supple, more responsive to the demands of the spirit. And we are progressing, we are evolving. And this evolution takes so long because we have to find suitable embodiment for the spirit. Thus we rise in the morning towards heaven. As these flames of Agni rise towards heaven, we also, full of energy in the morning. Why in the morning? Sun is rising, we are rising with the sun. In Shatapatha Brahmana said that we are the rays of the sun. We came through the gate of the sun into this manifestation. Our solar system is our solar home for our souls to evolve. With the planets as particular fields of force which are holding us, nourishing our souls here. We gain from them certain qualities, abilities, how to stay, how to adapt in this world, in time and space, in this world of mortality, how to survive in the world of mortality, the solar home, and there is a bigger home of nakshatras. which is surrounding us, which is investing its material into our solar home. And there is moon around Earth, which is like a magnifying glass, making all these nakshatras work, investments into our physical, vital, and mental bodies, into our activities. And with these two, bigger cosmos and solar system, we grow. We have two components in us. Yeah. And that is the sacrifice. The sacrifice, the bigger cosmos, is being sacrificed on the fire of the solar home in which we are safe. Our souls are safe here in the solar system. Can you imagine going beyond solar system as a soul? It's scary. It's totally scary. So within the solar system, it's comfortable, it's nice. Till Saturn, everything, Saturn is our kind of chaya, is the shadow of the sun. By the way, they speak about Saturn that it is a miniature of our solar system with all the rings. It's quite amazing if you think. It's a shadow of the sun. It's the last forepost which is holding us within, according to the Indian tradition. So, and all the planets, they contribute to the development of our modalities, of our activities within the soul. So, and there is nakshatras. Nakshatras are bigger cosmos. Nakshatras are connected to Shiva and Shaiva, we can say. And these, and that's why he has a moon in his head and so on. And this solar system is Vishnu more, the psychic being in us. That projection from the sun, the ray of the sun, which was born here as Yajamana, the one who makes the sacrifice. Those who are born in the body. Those who are born in the body, it is we, those who came from the sun. And when we want to go back beyond, we have to go through a portal of the sun, not away from the solar system, but through the sun as our gate. Yes.
Well, what's coming up for me is, amazing as all of this is, it's even more amazing is who are the rishis and who is Aurobindo that could even begin to figure this stuff out. I mean, that to me is as great a mystery as the mystery is.
Right. They are our guides. They are our, how to say, leaders on the way, because they first of us, among us, discovered, because we are also the divine beings, only we didn't discover it yet, but we will discover that. And they discovered it, and they tell us, look, we are all here to do something very different than we think today. Yeah, we are stuck to a particular modality and particular habit of being, and we think that's what we are about, but we are not. There is a path ahead of us, and if we understand it, we can speed it up. Yoga is nothing but speeding up the process of evolution of consciousness. Yeah? We may develop in our own tempo, whatever nature can do for us. Yeah? We don't need to rush towards the goal. But few of us who awoke to this, they can't go back. They can't go back to sleep and to become natural beings again. We want to go ahead because there is a great joy to go ahead. Yeah? That joy is attracting us. Nothing else.
Vladimir, every time I think before your class, I should do 10 minutes of dancing. Because, this class is not for the mind and the intellect. But today in this particular hour, I feel like dancing right now. It's like after you finish, I have to put some Durga covers or something, stand up and do a dancing. So, like how I'm feeling inside, like even my mitochondria in my cells are dancing. This is so perfect. I mean, what can be better than this? Whatever you're saying, it's just so perfect. Thank you, Vladimir. I insist that you give it in your program that 10 minutes of dancing is recommended if you want to absorb in all parts of your being.
I agree totally. I can feel like dancing with you, your energy, dancing energy. Yes, yes, Charles.
Well, just because of what she said, right? So what we know is that the mitochondria are independent bacteria living in every cell, and they have their own DNA, and they're cells within cells, right? And what the mitochondria do is they take near infrared sunlight at about 800 nanometers, absorbed in through the body and the eyes and all of the openings and all of that, and the skin, and they split inside the cell is water, and they split oxygen. They split the water molecule, which is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, and it releases hydrogen. And those hydrogen ions, they flow across the cells of the surface of the cells, negative to positive, and it creates the fire within our body. It creates the electricity within our body. So that's how light is converted into fire within our body. I found this whole thing today just to be really very empowering to the physical form. Once we understand some of these principles, I mean, sun gazing and all of those different things to get light into our body, not only with food and proper thinking, right? But as a fit Agni, bring it on. We want more Agni.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that is the energy of life. You have Agni, you live. You don't have Agni, you die. Yeah, that's as simple as that.
Agni in the Vedas is also love, right? The energy of love.
In the heart, yes, in the psychic, yes. And these two, we will talk maybe next time, these two, the Agni in the nature and Agni in the heart, we have to compare them and see how they play out. There are two different, maybe we spoke already briefly about this. Agni as Idya, as sought with adoration, or Priyaha, the beloved one. That is the Agni, the flame in the heart, aspiration towards the divine. And the other is Agni in the body, which is Yajatra, worthy of sacrifice. So it is something which is to be transformed. It is the transformative power within the nature. And they are connected, they are related, but in a very mysterious way. Okay, we can stop here today. Unfortunately, only one verse, but we will take next verse. But we covered many topics related to Agni, and it's very good. So Agni, again, next verse, number 2, next time. You will see it will evolve into such a vision which you don't expect. We do not have this knowledge. We do not expect even that it is even possible. But it is there. Only we have to dwell on it and let it form within us the means to understand it. I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. See you.